Hi everyone, my name's Gene Shaw. I'm an illustrator and a graphic designer. I've been working in the industry for about 15 years. And in this video, we're going to cover some techniques that are going to make your drawings look more realistic and three-dimensional. They're going to make your drawings really pop. So let's get started. All right, so the main thing that makes painting realistic and three-dimensional is your use of shade, your use of color. Before we jump into the paint real quick, I'm just going to draw, I don't know, give myself a little underlying drawing here. Maybe this guy is just standing here doing nothing, just chilling. Maybe he's Mega Man, he has a giant gun on his arm, whatever. So here he is, and I'm going to give myself, just give him some form here. Define some of the muscles a little bit. And what we're going to do is talk about our light source. Now, in this case, I'm just going to have the light coming from this direction. Okay, we'll say it's the sun or whatever. And talk about shade. Now, there are a few things in painting that you need to think about. You need to think about line weight. Okay, line weight is essentially thickness. So I'll just take my pencil here. That's a thin line, and that's a thick line. Okay, you can easily see the difference. Now, if we take, say, a cylinder here, and we just draw a quick cylinder, if I just make this side thicker, then immediately it gives this cylinder depth. It appears as though there is a light source coming from this direction, even if it's not quite that bright. The next thing is shading. So we also know that if it's a brighter light source coming from this side, it's going to be darker in contrast on the opposite side. So without getting into too much here, we know that this side is going to be darker. And now, with the thicker line on this side and a little bit of the shading, it's looking a little more three-dimensional, a little more realistic. So if we come back to our Mega Man guy here, with this thing on his arm, whatever it is, and it's some kind of, I don't know, crazy gun. And we think of this as a cylinder, and we've got our light source coming from this direction. The first thing we want to do is choose our line weights. So let me just grab a paintbrush here, and I'm going to grab some dark blue. And I'm going to come over to the back of the gun element here, because this is absolutely, this is a guy who's cosplaying Mega Man. He loves Mega Man, and he's cosplaying at Comic-Con. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself the outline of the entire gun. And again, this is just very basic. And I want the side away from our light source to be darker. So I'm going to go back into that darker blue. And as you can see, over time, it's getting lighter. And now, this gun area, I'll dip back into the straight blue without going into the water. This back area looks darker, and it looks as though the sun is coming from the other direction. Now I go back into the water and maybe dip it into the water one more time before I come back onto the page, just so I can fill this area in with a lighter blue. And you can see between the line weight, the heavier line in the back there, and the darker color, now this is starting to look a little bit more three-dimensional. So those are two just easy techniques that you need to keep in mind when shading that will make your paintings more realistic, more three-dimensional. All right, so there you have it. Those are just a few small ways that you can help your drawings look more realistic and three-dimensional. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.